Good? All right. Alrighty, so today my friend Steve here is nice enough to let me do a little test drive and maybe even we'll review his FD.
Yeah.
Any words to the wise before we get started?
Don't blow my motor.
That's not on me. It's not on me. All right, let's do it. But if I do blow it though, it's your fault.
Did you have AAA?
Yeah, I got AAA.
Okay, good.
And I got they should have like AAA-R for rotary, where it picks you up.
So did you know you can stack AAA benefits?
What?
So if I get 100 free miles of towing and you get 100 free miles of towing, we could stack them and have the tow truck tow the car 200 miles.
We're going 200 miles away right now. I'm gonna get a couple of shots of this thing. So what size are your wheels?
Wheels are work XT9s, 18x10, all around with 255/35 tires.
Okay, cool. What kind of tires are you running?
These are, the name is really long.
Conti Sport Contact 5P.
Yes,
wow.
That is correct. Conti Sport Contact 5P, made by Continental.
Continental, I always was like so premium to me.
They are. These are more meant for high-end, like German sedans. Like you see these on as replacement OEM tires for Mercedes.
Got it.
And BMWs.
I feel like the word touring comes to mind when I hear Continental. It's a touring tire.
Right.
Tour with this.
Right. But they're surprisingly grippy, and you know the breakaway is pretty smooth.
Sweet. All right, let's fire it up. Are these stock seats?
Yes.
It's so nice.
You get the suede seats.
Ooh, it's lovely.
Yes. First mod any RX7 owner should do. Fire extinguisher in the car.
Look at that. Keep that fully charged too. All right.
Cool. You good?
Ooh.
Yeah, you like that?
It's one of those things. Smooth. I never know how to pronounce it because I only ever saw it in Gran Turismo, that Japanese version of.
Yes, I believe Ifini or Effini is the correct pronunciation.
It's like, did you ever watch what was that show with the kid Corey Matthews and he's in school? You know, Mr. Feeney.
Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World. Mr. Feeney was his neighbor.
Yeah.
Was the steering wheel tilt?
No.
All right.
The steering wheel is lined up so that the top arc always fits.
Look at this.
Fits that.
What a thoughtful little thing. What I already immediately like about this is that I feel like I'm sitting pretty high up.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's a symptom of the nose being low or if it's just a high seating position.
It sits pretty low, actually. I'm surprised. You're a pretty tall guy.
Pretty tall guy.
Yeah. The sunroof models, you lose about an inch of headroom, so you got just enough headroom to sit in there.
Dude, I feel like a classy Japanese businessman right now.
You need a suit?
I need a suit and I need a drinking problem.
Yes.
Suspension Olin's coilovers?
Yep, Olin coilovers, which have been really good. They're pretty supple on the street.
Supple, I like that.
Yeah, supple. Supple.
Supple.
Supple. Supple.
Supple. Supple.
Supple.
Supple.
Supple.
Alright. So warm me up to the whole rotary thing, because I've never owned a rotary car. So I'm just like enjoying this, like feeling like I'm driving a milkshake right now. Is there anything I need to know? Like take some time, obviously, let it warm up, kind of deal.
It's pretty much warmed up at this point, just because I've been driving it all day.
Okay.
But yes, generally speaking, like most turbo cars, you want to get the water and oil up to temp before you really start flogging it.
And what gauges you got? Oil pressure and
we got boost, oil pressure, and water temperature.
You know, the oil pressure gauge is one of those ones that everyone always like, yeah, you got to run an oil pressure gauge, and I'm just like, I don't want to know. Just let it blow. If it like drops down, I want it to be a surprise.
You'll know.
So are vented hoods really popular for these? Because like when you opened the hood for me earlier, I got like that hit in the face, like with an oven door kind of vibe.
Yeah. The heat definitely beats you in the face if you're not ready for it. Basically, when it comes to the engine bay in these cars, anything to cool it down is ideal. So it's not uncommon, especially like at the autocross, you'll see guys running RX7s, and the first thing they do between runs is they stop and they open the hood. Yeah, nice. Just to get that air out. There's so many vacuum lines and hoses, the less you can expose them to sustained heat, the better.
Makes sense. God, this thing is cool. This is really fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean it's the motor's incredibly smooth at speed.
Mm-hmm.
Once if you take it out on the highway, you'll see you run it out, and
This way.
it's really smooth.
The blind spots aren't that bad either.
They're not terrible.
Dude, this feels like a car an adult would own.
It is a car an adult would own.
I mean, you are an adult. I mean, there's no denying it.
Thanks. I think.
That's not a compliment. That's absolutely an insult.
I mean, these cars, back, you know, the 95 was the last year they imported these cars. I think they went for about 45 grand back then. And, you know, today's prices, that's about 60 grand, I think.
Wow.
So, you know, this
It's like Viper territory.
Yeah, it'd be Viper, you know, M3.
Mama Scoots!
Yeah!
I love that. We're not going to challenge the ego of the Fiesta ST that just flew past us right here.
So the first turbo comes on at about 2,500 RPMs.
Okay.
You'll get full boost by 3,000 RPMs.
Okay.
And then it changes to the secondary turbo at about 4,500 RPMs.
Yeah.
So the PSIs drop just a little bit, and then it picks up again shortly thereafter.
God, I feel like a captain of a ship right now. It's like a good feeling. Pull off on Newport. See, we roll these up. Oh, over here. I've gotten so used to my MR2, which has them in the middle.
Yes.
It's like, oh, this is a roadster, so we put these in the middle.
Yeah, kind of European.
Yeah, I feel pretty fancy.
Yeah, these are incredibly fun cars. You know, the maintenance, they're just notoriously finicky, so you gotta kind of stay on top of the maintenance. Something as simple as an oil filter, or excuse me, not an oil filter, a bad fuel filter can ruin the day.
Oh, okay.
And unlike a piston car where, you know, you can take a bad tank of gas, have it ping a couple times, these motors, the rotary motors, it pings once and there goes a seal and you're done. So that's why you got to stay on top of the maintenance, you know, all the little stuff.
So tell me about the X factor here, which is like, you have a car like this, which is obviously cool for anybody who's into rice rockets, you know, like either of us. But there's this thing that comes into play when I look into buying a car, and that's like, how many nerds will talk to me at a gas station? And like, if that score is high, like my want to buy is much lower. How is that? Do you get like a lot of nerds like that want to talk to you about it?
Not a whole lot, surprisingly. Car meets definitely.
Oh, of course.
But at a regular gas station, not so much.
God damn.
With the red colored car.
Oh, it gets
you know,
me a little more there.
It definitely gets some looks. You know, it's but no, I don't get too many questions until I show up to a car meet, especially like an import type car meet. Then there's people come up and ask me questions about it. Yeah.
So, what's the number one thing that owning this car? So you've had it for a little while now.
Just about a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
What's the number one? If you could change one thing about this car, like from the factory, or correctable or not, what would you undo about it?
I would actually prefer this car as a single turbo.
Oh, okay.
Only because, especially nowadays, and granted this is now, but you know, back in 1993, turbos were not as efficient as they are now. But nowadays, I find newer turbos, you can get a single turbo setup that's, I feel, pretty darn close to being responsive and quick spooling as the factory twins.
Oh yeah.
And single turbos just less complicated, less stuff in the engine bay to heat up and make everything else suffer from the heat.
I feel like single turbo setups get a bad rap because people bitch about turbo lag. I'm like, when the fuck would that ever be an issue? Like, I had a T28 on my SR on the S13.
Yep.
And it was like, oh, you know, it's a pretty small turbo, so you get a lot of lag. But it's like, I've driven ones with bigger turbos, and they don't kick in until what, like 35. And it's like, when are you ever below 35 in a situation where you're going to need a lot of boost?
Right. I mean, I figure, you know, the earliest you're going to want boost is maybe like 2,500 to 3,000 RPMs for any type of, you know, high performance driving environment. You're not going to be slugging it at 2,500 RPMs on a track or up in the canyons or anything like that.
That's some like serious car meet buzz talk.
Yeah.
You know, there's those certain things that everyone says, but then you're just like, let's really unpack that a little bit, brother.
Let's really digest this.
Let's think about that.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to cruise around in 5th gear and punch it in 5th gear, then yeah, I guess you need boost at 2,000 RPMs. But
it is so buttery. Oh.
Yeah, it is. It does run like a sewing machine. It's super quiet. Even with the exhaust, it's the sound of the motor is pretty quiet.
What's the general word on the street about the transmissions on these cars? Because it feels fine to me.
Transmissions. So the 93 to 95 most notoriously is a bad 5th gear synchro. They tend to go out. Even this car's got 45,000 miles. This one's got 45,000 miles and it grinds going into 5th. I think some of the later Japanese transmissions, they had that sorted, so a lot of guys will swap that out.
Jeez, I picked the scariest merge of all.
I know, sweet Jesus.
Be careful for you. Oh yeah, you know one of the other big rotary things, because there's like those go-to jokes about rotaries, like it'll blow, ding, we mark that one off.
Yep.
The other one is people talk about not having torque, but I'm like, I'm pretty happy.
Well, that's
the amount of torque that it creates.
Yeah, it makes decent power. And that's the thing, you know, you I don't want to say it's like an S2000, but you do keep the revs up when you drive this type of car.
Yeah, for
a
sure.
little bit, you know, you're not going to be, this is not, you know, like a Corvette where you're lugging it at 1,500 RPMs on the highway and you punch it. You know, I can't start this car in 2nd gear, you know.
I know that there's one thing that if you're buying an FD, you're supposed to look for. And it's like the #1 thing. And that's the Bose audio system that had like cool...
no.
What are you talking about,
no,
dude?
No,
that's the cool...
no.
My friend Darren said he drove one and it has like these tubes in the back.
Yes, the little Bose tubes.
Dude, how could you not want that?
It's so ugly.
That would be the #1 thing to look for. Because it had like... It looked like the back of the alien from Aliens.
It does.
Remember him? There's like these tubes and shit going everywhere. If it doesn't have that, I'm not an interested buyer. Consider that.
So those came on the touring models.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of the
tour. Oh, we're using touring again.
Yeah. That was the touring model. So you had here in the States, you had a base model, you had a touring model, and then you had the top of the line, the R1.
Got it.
And the base.
Top of the line. This just happens to be one of those. We're not having a big deal about it, but
yes, top of the line. So the base and the R1 did not have the Bose system. You needed the touring model, which also came with a sunroof. Which when I bought this car, I really did not want a sunroof because I wanted the helmet space. Granted, I'm not that tall of a guy.
Yeah.
Still, I didn't want to be sitting at the track with my neck crooked like this.
That's my move every time. It's just like that. I'd like to compile a list of like the top things you do while touring, like driving a touring car.
Touring car?
It's like driving to picnics with a really fancy basket.
Yeah.
Like that's one of them.
Yeah.
Going to your friend Skylar's house.
Oh yeah.
That's another one.
I don't know anyone in Skylar though.
I don't either. I'm not rich enough. I don't have that kind of money.
All right.
I don't have Skylar money.
We're gonna find one out. Fire up. What's like the current hip dating app?
So if anybody at the beginning of the video was like, no, he said this guy Steve was an adult, but we're not believing it. But then you said, what's the current hip dating app? And they're like, yeah, he's an adult. This guy's a fucking adult.
I'm behind the times.
I think you mean Tinder.
Tinder? Okay.
Yeah, Tinder.
I feel like Tinder is like a legitimate dating app though. I mean, I feel like it's gone from, you know, your hookups to now it's like just a normal another dating app.
I know, those normals.
Are we gonna find someone named Skylar on that? I feel like Skylar's like not even like eHarmony territory.
Where are we gonna find Skylar? Beach cities, and we'll find some Skylars.
Okay. Or can you filter by name? Do we get people's names?
I would like to know.
I feel like we should investigate this.
We're not single guys. We don't know this stuff.
I know.
But I think you can do like geolocation. So like within 5 miles. So if we just drive to like Palos Verdes or something like that, that's like a fancy city, right?
Yeah.
We can find a couple Skylars.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm still like alarmed by how high it feels like I'm sitting for such a low car, in a good way. Because like in like my MR2, I feel like I'm looking under big rigs, and I'm like, oh, look at that, that's where they put the tire. How'd they get under there in the Fast and Furious movies? But this is like this is really, I could do this every day, and not feel like a total dork.
No.
Or like mad at myself.
No, you would not hate life.
And you know the other good thing is that I noticed that the boost is like a really friendly boost.
It is.
And that might be the twin turbo setup.
It is.
Because like when I had the Evo 10, that boost is like scary boost. Because you had an Evo before, right?
At a 9.
And that's like, as soon as that boost comes on, you're like, I don't want it. Like it's like your hands get a little hot, and you're like, I don't know if I should be doing this, and I'm get in trouble. But this is like, you can roll onto it and get to enjoy the sound without feeling like your mom's gonna yell at you afterwards.
Yeah,
you know?
it's the pace that the boost comes on. It's not as kind of frenetic, and it's definitely manageable. I think it's part of just that smooth rotary power delivery.
Balance is one of the words I hear a lot with this car, and like now that I'm driving one, I totally understand it.
Yes.
It would almost make me a little afraid to give it too much power because it's like such a happy medium right now.
It is. It's a real nice medium for the car.
There's a Mustang right here, right behind us. Here he comes. Please do a flyby.
Yeah, he's way behind you.
Man. When did you say Turbo 2? Or Turbo 2 comes on?
Above 4,500 RPMs.
You can feel that.
Yeah. And you need to run it out to redline because there's a nice little chime that lets you know to shift.
Really?
Yes. So you have to run it out to redline in some gear.
You just called me out and everyone knows I've been driving like a poon.
Yeah. Come on.
All right.
Come on.
It's not mine.
Yeah. Grab second gear somewhere and.
Right here is a perfect time. We're like 60 and it's about 80 in second, doesn't it?
With the car 20 feet in front of us. Yeah. Like, just punch it.
That's perfect. You're like, I regret this decision.
Yeah, never mind. I was just kidding about that. It doesn't really work.
And it doesn't make terrible noises when it turns, which is cool.
Nope. I mean, it's got some little creaks in it. I mean, yeah. You got to still keep in mind that this car was 1993.
How long ago is that?
That is. Fuck. I mean, I'm Asian, but I'm a little slow with the math right now. It's 23 years.
Everyone was judging.
23 years.
23 years.
23 years.
God.
I mean, what were you doing 23 years ago? You were like in fucking diapers.
I was 7. I was in diapers.
You were in diapers. Yeah. So clearly, 23 years. I remember.
They were pull-ups though. I was ahead of the game.
I remember seeing this car. I don't give away my age, but
yeah.
I remember seeing this car in Super Street magazine and just like salivating.
Really? Was there a babe like this?
Oh yeah.
In a checkered bikini?
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Well, it was yellow. They always had yellow bikinis.
Yes. Well, I mean, they made this car in yellow.
Oh,
only 1 year though, 93.
93.
And only in the R1 spec.
Isn't it weird how after you own a car for a while, you start to collect all this like
random knowledge,
stupid knowledge?
Yeah.
It's just useless.
Yeah, it's kind of nerd territory.
Yeah. Good nerd though. Yeah. So one thing that's weird is like we look so cool right now because I wasn't thinking about it. I was just like, oh, this feels really nice, really smooth. You know, we're just chatting. But like when the guy in the FC convertible drove by,
yeah.
like I could have easily just told him to fuck off, like because he's not nearly as cool as us in this car. Like
it was an NA we went to. It wasn't a turbo.
Ooh.
I think it was a convertible.
Shame. It was a convertible.
Sorry, FC Vert owners. I know there's a few of you guys out there that love your cars. For what it's worth, I did own 3 FCs at some various points in my life.
But none of them were convertibles. You're not
none of them were convertibles.
I heard it.
Yeah.
Golly. So this car now for me falls into one of those categories of its own class of type of car that you should own at some point.
I feel like it is. The rotary motor alone makes it unique. I mean, there really is no other cars that have it. So.
Here's my only axe to grind with rotary. And it's not even about like the extra maintenance that you have to put in. It's when rotary people are like, it's just as reliable. Then they run through this list of like 40 things. It's like saying, my girlfriend's not low maintenance. It's just I have to do all these millions of things to make sure that she's happy. It's
I mean, reliable is kind of a relative term. I mean, how reliable would you say like a new BMW is now? I feel like they're reliable for about 60,000 miles.
I think you're right.
You know?
It's like a lease-only kind of vehicle.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh, yeah.
You know, compared to like my, I got an old Acura that has like 150,000 miles. And it's needed.
You've never changed the oil.
It's not that bad. I've at least changed the oil.
Do we just got?
I think we just got the deuces props. Yeah, from the Protege.
Protege 5.
Protege 5.
Should we drive by and give them a thumbs down?
I feel like we need to fly. No, see, no, come on.
I get it. I know it's your car. It's like
no, you're propagating bad stereotypes, man. Like,
are FD guys like they're like
I feel
nose
like,
up?
yeah, I feel like FD owners got kind of a shtick, you know, that
Really?
they're kind of nose up a little bit, a little elitist.
You should be though. This car's way cooler.
It is fucking cool, but I mean, I'm not the type to thumb my nose at someone just because of the car I drive, of all things.
You should be, dude. That's the best part of driving a car that's cooler than other
I mean,
people.
if I had like an R8 or something like that, okay, fuck yeah, I'm thumbing my nose at everyone, but FD's pretty cool. Don't get me wrong.
It is cool.
It's a unique car, and it's from an era where there's a lot of nostalgia.
Yeah.
With the Japanese cars of this area, you know, the Supras, 3000 GT.
Well, you're in that class
RX7.
of like when I was in high school. It's like if you had this, an NSX or a Supra,
Yes.
you're one of the coolest guys on the planet.
Yes.
And so you've achieved some serious dreams right here.
Yes. Some boyhood dreams.
Boyhood dreams. All the temps look good, you know, and not that we're beating on it too hard or anything, but everything looks pretty happy.
Yeah, I've done some you know, quote, reliability mods. Because there are mods that are considered essentials to, quote, keep it running reliably.
And that's like cool it off.
Cool it off, cool it off, cool it off.
Simplify and cool it off.
Simplify and cool it off. So it's got a HKS downpipe, it's got a Koyo radiator, and so far it seems to be pretty happy with those two components. Oh, sorry, there's one other thing. It's got a thermo switch that kicks in the fans at a lower temperature than it does from the factory.
I just picked one of those up. It's half done and it'll remain that way for a good 6 months.
Yeah, it's actually a factory part off the older FC.
Oh, really?
And you can swap it in. It just plugs right in.
Oh, that's convenient.
So it's nice. You know, it's a Mazda part. No, nothing weird about it.
Yeah. I like that. Dude, I feel like we need to do this again, but at night?
Yeah.
With sunglasses on.
Oh.
And toothpicks in our mouths.
Matches.
What?
Matches.
You just blew my mind. I didn't know you could do that with a match.
Hell yeah, you could.
Holy shit. That's way... I would have never thought of that.
Matchstick, man. I mean,
wow. Because then you like...
You got to get like the nice matches. I'm not talking the ones, the little flimsy paper ones that you rip out.
No, you don't
like
want that.
a little matchbox. Yeah, a little matchbox. Nice matches.
I would have to, like, the move I'd want to do with that is, like, light it on my shoe and then do the thing where, like, you flick the cigarette and it lands in your mouth. And I feel like driving this car, I could pull that off.
I feel like what we do is you put it in your mouth and you drop it, and then we film it in reverse. We roll the footage in reverse.
See?
Yeah.
These are the tricks that you need to learn.
You know what?
Trade.
Adult.
You only have a few years on me, but during those years is when you learn to play video backwards.
Yeah, play the video backwards. That's right. These are the tricks, man.
That's the tricks of the trade. I just feel like I'm driving something from the future.
Yeah?
You know what I mean? Like, this is what I wish electric cars sounded like this, because then they would have a pretty big following, I think.
I mean, this car was pretty, pretty ahead of its time, I feel like. And styling-wise, mainly the styling.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, you know, even now at 23 years old, you know, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, really good.
People are, the uninitiated are always surprised when I tell them what year the model, the year that the car model is.
Does it come off as impressive to a non-car person? Like, do they ask what kind of Ferrari it is? Because I've seen that. Somebody called my MR2 a Porsche.
Oh,
that's happened 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
I've had one guy ask me whether this was a Ferrari, what year Ferrari this was.
Oh,
and I think it was the red.
Tell him 93.
If it was any other color aside from red, I don't think he would have asked the question. But it's nice.
Never change a thing.
No.
Stay golden, pony boy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with where it is, and it doesn't, you know, these types of cars, it's easy to go over the top and get crazy with it, but you know, this has kind of minimal mods, and I think it looks and drives pretty nice.
Yeah. Oof. Wow. I've never felt like, I'm sorry to go back to the cool thing.
Yeah.
But like, I actually feel cooler driving this.
We need
like, I'm not joking.
We need sunglasses and matchsticks.
Matchsticks.
That make you a little cooler.
That's the name of this episode, Sunglasses and Matchsticks.
But we don't actually have them.
Well, I mean, you know, it's an aspirational title. It's just like a crappy
Can we
bitmap.
do like a little, like the, just deal with it?
Deal with it glasses?
Except then we need a matchstick. You need an 8-bit
8-bit matchstick.
8-bit matchstick.
That's not hard to make.
I feel like that's pretty easy.
That's within my skill set. Hot damn. Well, thanks, dude. That was really fun.
Yeah, glad you enjoyed it.
You're gonna have to beat on my Corolla a little bit in 2013. 2026. I mean.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2013. We missed that one
I
already.
meant 3013, but let's be
3013.
realistic. 2026.
Man, if that car is still running in 3013, it will be amazing.
It will be the first time that it runs. I'll pull you up. Thanks, dude. That was a blast.
No problem.
Oh.